So sorry, but I'm not taking off my glass.
Lockyer takes a shot. It's low. He's got it. I think he's got it.
Merlin, are you going to speak?
But for me, it was a winner. David.
Well, I'm afraid it wasn't for me, Margaret.
Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
On. Welcome back to On the Tonight, where the only podcast of reviews free to wear content.
We're using that as the intro? Do you want to do the intro?
I just did.
Okay.
Okay, let's start it your way.
Do it again. No, do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah.
I did it again.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to On the Tonight, where the only podcast of reviews free to wear content.
Listen to Free to Air. Tom and I are socially impaired on our podcast.
Better that's out of the 90s. We're gonna turn some television in the vapor room and my dick smile.
We got 2 beers, we're gonna skull it. We've got some shady mullets on the pod. Suck my balls. Welcome back. If you made it through the first 30 seconds, it's all downhill from here, ladies and gentlemen.
Doesn't get any better. As my mum texts me on my fucking... I'm on the clock, Mum.
Turn it on D&D, brother. That's on you for getting notifications.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Welcome back to the number one podcast that sometimes reviews free-to-air television, sometimes intends to review free-to-air television but doesn't.
Yeah.
And then other times just doesn't.
2 times out of... I think we were at 98% before.
It's going downhill pretty quickly.
It's slipping.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to On the Air Tonight. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
No. Thank you for having me.
All right, what is this? The
pleasure is all yours.
Is this a graciousness pissing contest?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, you're welcome.
So are you. How are you been?
Whoa. Okay.
Well, okay.
Oh.
Easy, buddy.
Don't be throwing that back in my face. If you're a fan of the show and you'd like to be getting a shout out like all of our friends do every week, leave us a comment on our YouTube video, subscribe to the channel, or follow us on Instagram and leave us a comment there.
And you will become part of the OTAT legacy.
Yes, which we'll get to a couple of the comments we've gotten in the past week. But before we do, how are you, mate?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Couple beers deep?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I feel better now. I was a bit flat as a tack this afternoon on my way here, but Jake rocks up with a 6-pack of the Mountain Goat Summer Ales, and I mean, it's enough to get the blood flowing.
It'd be rude to not get the blood flowing.
It would be rude. It'd be rude to not indulge with you.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be rude to say no.
Join me in the Viper Room, baby.
It's not like any of us really need it. We had not to make this we had a big weekend.
We had another big weekend.
Not to make it the Big Weekend podcast. Do you want to rebrand the whole pod as the Big Weekend?
That sounds so shit.
Well, it's also a lot of pressure.
There's got to be a better. Yeah, we're just constantly burning the midnight oil.
We have to get written off every weekend for that to happen.
There's got to be a better name than that.
We'll think of something.
Sunrise at Storybridge.
Yeah, that's nice. What was Jordan's show that he was writing?
Sunset over the River City.
You seen the first step yet?
I've had many conversations with Jordan about the pilot.
Been in the works for 25 years.
Yep, we're going to do like a Miami Vice sort of thing. Yeah, dude, yeah.
Yeah. And I want you involved. Yeah, okay. Just let me know when it's up and off the ground.
Let's keep shitting on our mate who's trying to do a creative project. Sorry, mate.
He'll have the last laugh one day.
But yes.
When we're all 60 and the first episode gets released.
Another big weekend for you then.
Well, for you as well, to some degree.
No, actually, it was a relatively quiet weekend for me, mate.
You were there for the start of the large weekend.
The chaos.
Then you were smart and went home.
Yep. Kicked off on Friday. started really big by going to the Apple store straight after work and finding out that it's going to cost me $1,200 to replace my laptop that I fell asleep next to the weekend before.
Such a shit way to break your laptop screen.
Yeah, falling asleep
to
next to it, and it's like, oh, it's fine, and then like turning it on the next day, it's like, oh no, the screen's cracked.
Yeah, hasn't just come out open and honestly and said he was masturbating too hard and he fucking
No,
cracked it.
No.
He still denies it. Look at him.
It's November. Come on. It's triple N, baby.
It's triple N. How's that going for you?
Failed October 31st.
Yeah, I don't think
I brought in the new month climaxing.
people say you're full of confidence. I don't know if we spoke about this already, but people say that not fapping has a lot of benefits. You're more charismatic and you're more confident, and like having a built up amount
libido
of jizz inside you like makes you, it's kind of like drunk, right? You're more confident. You're like 2 beers drink at all times. Sorry, 2 beers deep at all times.
I don't know about that. I think
But would you know? Because you probably masturbated every day. No offense, since like 16.
Yeah, none taken. You're right. I don't think that there's anything to say about, like, I think you probably start trying to notice things, like trying to see what the health benefits are, because you're hypersensitive, because you're not just focused on pleasuring yourself all the time.
You're like, there's got to be an upside to this.
There's got to be.
Because I haven't had an orgasm in 14 days.
The split in the pro and the con in this is like Seinfeld, where George Costanza stops masturbating and he's like becomes like far more intelligent. I think he gets a job at the New York Yankees. He does like a science seminar at like his old school. Like he gets a new girlfriend. Like all this stuff happens. And then he nuts and he becomes just like
back to a loser.
Yeah, loser Giebin again.
So the whole movement is kind of off the back of a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah. But then, like, what I take more stock in is something about Mary, where it's like you don't go to the date with a loaded weapon. Like you want to empty the clip before you go, because then you're going to be a hazard, but with a firearm that's ready to go.
Well, that's the eternal debate, right? It's like if you're seeing a dime piece that night, and do you go in with empty canisters so you're ready to go, or do you like, oh, I'm gonna possibly have sex, I want to be or you like, I want to last all night, so I'll have a crank prior. I think there's benefits to both.
Yeah, look, you could honestly debate about it for hours.
We're not going to get to the bottom of it.
Could debate in mass, some would say.
You could have a mass debate. I said that in maths class once unintentionally. Like we were genuinely arguing about, like, someone said like, oh, BOMDAS is the right thing, and someone else was like, no, it's BODMAS. And then honestly, innocently, I was like, oh, miss, we're having a maths debate. And I like meant no filth by it.
What is this, grade 6, grade 7?
It was like year 9.
Okay.
And
you're doing BOMDAS in grade 9. Yeah. Oh, Gold Coast High.
State school, bruh.
It's, well, I went to a state school as well, mate.
Yeah, well, Gold Coast State School. Yeah. Different level.
We learned that at 11. You're learning it at 14.
Sorry, dude. We were probably rehashing it.
You did not say that unintentionally.
I honestly did. You might not believe me, but as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, I just said masturbate. Got a giggle out of the teacher, though, unintentionally.
Did any of the kids get it, or were they just...
Well, they're all, I was leagues above all of them, so...
Yeah, okay, buddy.
So they probably didn't.
And just
going over people's heads for a while now.
And just to put the debate to bed, it's BOMDAS.
It's not BODMAS?
No, it's
okay.
BOMDAS.
We can argue about that off air.
Let's do it right here. I'm sure our listeners love to hear about us talking about math problems more than us doing really bad renditions of. What is that song? Give me the beat.
It's Give Me the
Drift Away?
Beach Boys and Free My Soul. I want to get lost in that rock and roll.
It's not Beach Boys.
Give me the
Beat Boy.
beat. The what?
Give me the beat. Boy.
Oh, it's not the Beach Boy.
Give me the beat. Give me the Beach Boys and Free My Soul.
I think that's what it is.
No.
Okay, we'll argue about that off air as well.
Yeah,
I genuinely thought it was.
If you're tearing at the bit, just like pulling hair out of your scalp, listening, going, it's fucking Give Me the Beat Boys, and it is BODMAS.
We all have opinions at home. Let us know.
Yep.
So you think it's Give Me the Beach Boy and Free My Soul?
Yeah.
Okay. Like just give me the beat.
Yes.
Give me the beat.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It makes sense.
Why would you make a song shouting out another band?
Everyone does that. All the best musicians do that.
Do they?
Yeah. Have you heard like Jay-Z talk about Eminem on a Jay-Z song?
Nope.
It's like,
Don't listen to either of those two bit musicians.
okay, we'll insert either fucking Magoo musician that you listen to.
All right.
They'll probably do it as well.
Possibly.
Anyway, point is we went out on Friday night.
Yes. Yeah.
How did we get here?
Yeah. So went to the Apple store. Needed to drown my sorrows. Local pub near our work was doing $2 pots.
Shout out Fritzenberger, Caxton Street.
No free plugs. No free plugs. Thank you.
Okay, well they'll pay us for it.
I don't think they will.
We'll bill ya.
They'll pay us to keep their names out of our mouth.
We saw how much money you made off $2 pots the other night. They can afford it.
And then we went there. Then went to the famous Lefties, which we've spoken about before. You just like strong-armed as much as you can with those weak wrists. You strong-armed multiple colleagues of ours to give our podcast a follow on Instagram.
That's not the story that I was going to tell.
All right. Well, what story were you going to tell, champion?
The podcast might have come up in conversation to a table of 3 other people, and only 2 of them liked it.
Do you remember that shitty interaction we had with that person?
Who?
We got to Lefties and like it was packed. We were like, oh, how? It was It was 5 of us.
Yeah.
And I was like, one of our colleagues, Matt, who might be a fan of the podcast after you fucking twisted his nipples into giving us a follow. But
shout out, Matt.
We got in there. I was like, good luck finding a table. And then as soon as we got in, you and the 2 others went to the bar, Bianca and Stevie, and like 5 people made a mass exodus from a table right in front of us. So like, oh, this is like when you're going shopping on Christmas Eve at like Westfield Shopping Centre and like just a car park pulls out right in front. You're like, sweet.
The C's party.
I don't have to steal a handicap spot.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, this is just the stars. Parking goddess is what my mother would call it.
Parking goddess.
The being kissed by the parking goddess.
I love that. We were kissed by the Lefties table goddess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lefties deity.
The Lefties deity. And then we had a biff with them, or what happened?
So like we sat down and we had 5 chairs there, so enough for all of us there. It was just me and Matt sitting at the table while you guys were getting drinks. And this older woman comes up and she's like, "Can I steal these seats? Are you using them?" We're like, no, we're using them for other people. And she was just like, "I bet you're not. I bet you don't fucking know anyone. I bet like if anyone comes over here, you've probably paid them." And like me and Matt were like, haha, all right, yeah, good bit.
Yeah.
And then you guys walked over and she called Bianca. She's like, "Oh, you are doing this. I'm going to call you charity because you're doing the nicest thing for these boys pretending to know them. They must have paid you so much." And she was like, "What the fuck? What are you talking about? Like,
I don't get it.
I don't know who you are."
I just got here.
And me and Matt were like, all right, it was a funny bit to be. And Matt's super polite. So he was like, yeah, righto, you can fuck off now.
Yeah.
And like, just weird interaction. It went on for another like 10, 15 minutes. And another thing happened with her, which isn't worth explaining, but like.
What is it about Lefties and older women annoying the fuck out of younger men?
I don't know.
Remember we've had this before in the booth?
I think it's like the speakeasy vibe that the place gives up, like dimly lit, a lot of candles, a lot of old music being played, a lot of dead animals around the place.
A lot of taxidermy.
A lot of sconces.
Yeah, a lot of sconces.
It's not a sconce-free zone.
No, it's sconce-filled.
Yeah.
And there's bras all over the sconces.
There is, yeah.
Lefties law is if you get your bra up on the antler of a sconce,
you get a free drink.
You get a free drink.
Traditionally, when it first opened.
Are they not doing that anymore?
I don't think so.
They're full of bra. All the sconces, there's not a sconce without a panty on it.
No.
And there's panties up there.
Yep.
People have taken their bottoms off.
Yeah, exactly. And you were like, well, what happened? Yeah, Matt was like, well, what happens if I throw me pants up there? I was like, you get curb stomped.
Yeah. That is a gender neutral free drink.
Yeah.
Sorry, a gender bias free drink.
Correct. But fun place.
It's a great time.
And you're not continued. I behaved myself and left at about 8:30.
Well, I was so hesitant to go that whole day. I was like, when I started that Friday out, I was like, not going to go out. Just not going to do it because I need to invest inwards. Again. Need to invest inwards.
You've had enough weekends of people twisting your arm on a Friday night to go have a better time than staying at home watching US Office.
Exactly. And then finally, I'm not going to have it and I'm going to invest inwards.
So you prepared by wearing a B105 t-shirt to work going, just so in case I do go out, I'm going to look like an absolute tit wearing a work shirt.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this as like as a prophylactic for me to not go out.
Yes. This is, there's no way that I can in this shirt. I just wouldn't. I would go home. There's no way that I can. And then I just went out in the shirt because the arm got too rubber. The old Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, really. You were the one twisting, like you texted me. I was like walking back from the city, like, come to Fritzen.
Yeah, well, that was after I'd already been rubber armed by multiple others.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you really look like you were being twisted into it when I left the office at 5 o'clock. You're sitting on the
great time
on the balcony with 3 beers, like, where are you going?
My car's staying here, dude. I guess I'll get it tomorrow. The B105 Polo's already on me. So I was like, I guess I'm going out in a fucking work shirt. And all night at Lefties, I was just walking around. I was doing like I think it was kind of after you left, but I was doing like I own B105. I own radio. That's why I'm in this.
I'm glad I left at that point.
And then like side story, we saw Johnny and Kerry from Maths there.
Oh, yeah. I think that was the reason we, like, because you saw them, you're like, oh, it's old mates from Maths. Let's follow them in.
Yeah, no, we were going to Lefties anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, they did go in ahead of us. Sure, we followed them in for the sake of the story.
Yeah,
we followed them in, and we were just making jokes about like we eventually got Johnny over for a chat, and he was like, "Oh, like what do you guys do?" Like our mate Stevie just went up to him and just shamelessly dragged him over.
Oh, so you actually chatted to him?
Yeah, so Stevie dragged him over eventually, and then I was just like, he was like, "Oh, B105." I spoke to fucking Nova after the show. I was like, he's like, "What do you do there?" I was like, "Oh, I own it. I own radio."
Did he buy it?
No, he didn't buy it. Of course he fucking didn't. He was like, "Oh, well, fucking get me on for an interview." I was like, "No, sorry, I don't have any pull in that regard."
I own it, but they don't let me do any of the creative control or the business control. Really, it's more of an honorary title.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Queen, you know? I just wave from the studios. I'd go to Lefties in the shirt. And then eventually I felt, so that conversation was fine. It ended. He talked a lot of shit about Fried Rice Bryce. He was like, that guy fucking sucks.
Oh, so he was from the same season of Maths.
Yeah, he was in the Bryce season.
I feel like that was so long ago.
Yeah, that was like last year that we were talking about Fried Rice Bryce.
Was it? Or was it earlier this year?
Was it this year? No, it would have been this year.
It was this year.
Yeah.
It was like probably around pre-June.
Yeah.
It was before Olympics. I remember that.
Yes. Because we were talking about tappers, about Bryce eating tappers.
That's right. Really cool. Just like, oh yeah, I'm not angry at all. I'm just stuffing my face full of bread.
Yeah, he was lining his mouth with fucking
something sort of fucking bite down his tongue.
He was just saying that Bryce is even worse in person. They made him look better, which has never happened. He was like he will blame the edit, but he was worse than the show actually made him
Shitty
look.
human being.
Garbage guy.
Doesn't surprise me.
And apparently Bryce spoke shit about him in the media afterwards.
About the winner?
No, Bryce spoke shit about Johnny in the media.
I thought Johnny won.
Nah, Johnny. There's no winner in maths. You're just like they were a successful couple. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Successful couple. They found love. It's not like they had actually won anything from it.
Well, they won each other, and it actually was really sweet.
Boring.
We saw him go to enter, and I was like, that guy's from something. And then we figured out, oh, he's the maths guy. Walks up to his missus. There's no cameras around or anything, so you know it's real. And just gives his missus the most like honeymoon phase loving embrace. And I was like, the show actually works for some people. They weren't faking it.
So when are you going on?
Don't worry about it.
Petition. Who out of the OTAT boys should go on Maths next year? I think it's you.
Why?
Because you're Mr. Charming. You're the ladies' man.
That's literally not true. But anyway, we don't need to get into maths politics.
Not here for a maths debate.
No, we're not. Call back. I eventually got so sick of wearing the B105 shirt that I was like, all right, I have to get I have to get out of this. And then I said to Stevie, like, oi, because she's a girl, I was like, it's not going to sound good coming from a male. I was like, can you get one of the lefty shirts? Just the shirts that the bartenders and the glassies wear. She's like, oh, I'll ask. And then she's asking at the bar and they're like, oh yeah, we might have one actually. I was like, oh, this is going great. And then they're like, oh, we only have a small. I was like, oh, don't worry about it. She's like, no, actually we found a large. So they hand me a large. I'm like, thank you so much. And she's like, yeah, that'll be $45.
And you paid it.
Yeah. I was like, of course you're selling it. Just giving them away.
At this point, you're like 10 plus standards deep and you're still so self-conscious about wearing a nylon polo that just had like a small logo on it that says radio.
Yeah, and I stripped off my B105 polo and chucked the lefties on. Lefties.
What'd you do with the work shirt?
Tucked it in the back.
Oh, okay, you didn't fucking.
I did.
Oh, you did.
I was swagging around on the stairs of lefty.
Did the helicopter like, I'm Magic Mike, guys.
But with
I'm Tragic Tom.
I really showed people I was enjoying the band on the stairs. And then as I'm wearing the lefty shirt, just looking like a glassy. You know, like now I'm
Yeah.
I'm
People are
truly
coming up to you like,
invisible.
oh, can I have 3 espresso martinis?
Well, then I kept going up to people and I was like, I own lefties. I co-own lefties.
So you own B105 and lefties. Do you have any
Yeah.
pull here? God, no. They wouldn't let me do anything. I just own it.
There was one chick who like was just lining up at the bar and we were just chatting or whatever. And she's like, are you a glassy? And I was like, oh, no, I actually own the place. And she bought it for a second. She was like, what? Really? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, you know the apple whiskey sours that like everyone gets there, the famous $12 apple whiskey sours? She was like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, that was my idea. I invented that drink.
There's no need to flex any further once you say I own the place. Not like, oh, I invented the signature cocktail at the bar.
And she was like, really? And then I couldn't keep it going any longer. I felt like such a piece of shit.
You should have gone anywhere. It's just like, yeah, Tom Leftorius. This is lefties.
Yeah, I'm from the Leftorium. This was originally a Leftorium.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
And also,
we used to just sell a left-handed can opener.
and I was going to ask before when you tried to play the bit of it, like you owning B105 to old Mapsy, but I don't think in the history of people owning businesses, conglomerates, restaurants, bars, any sort of organization or
Massive
service,
media corporations.
yeah, there's no, like, Rupert Murdoch's not going to wear a fucking Fox Sports or a Fox News polo shirt.
No, he wears a suit and a tie. Yeah. If anyone knew anything, they should have taken one look at the polo and gone, you're a street teamer.
Yeah.
You don't own the place.
Zuckerberg never wore a Facebook
No.
polo.
Not after like a year. This girl that I told the apple whiskey sour story to, I've never seen someone's eyes light up so quickly
And then
roll so quickly. She was like off me straight away. I was like, oh, bye-bye.
Of course.
Back to a regular old. I was like, oh no, I spent $45 on and over at the bar. She was like, oh, you're a fucking loser.
How bad was your shirt before this? You had to do it.
It's this sign in the back of your
I
pants.
actually own the radio station up the road.
Yeah.
I just didn't want people to know that, but now I've told you.
I don't own lefties. I actually own B105.
God damn.
That's fucking shit.
What a night.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, and then another big one on Saturday, but we don't need to go there.
All right.
There's nothing to tell.
All right.
But come Sunday.
Sounds like there's something to tell. But
No, Blade Runner 2049 midday viewings on Sunday.
nice. Yep.
Nothing better than that.
That's a pretty good way to cap off a Sunday.
Yeah, had the sisters' dogs for a hangover. That was nice. Just fucking a hangover with puppy dogs, just like lying all over you.
Sounds like the name of a good like cafe band, the Sisters Dogs.
I don't hate it.
Maybe.
The sisters' dogs.
That's a band that wouldn't mention another band in one of their songs.
No, they're not mentioning the Scissor Sisters.
What was the sister word association?
Girls got to look out for each other, you know.
I guess so.
If you do, well, I mean, how was your weekend?
Fine.
Yeah, because you left lefties at about 10.
Oh, mate, like
Smartly.
8:30.
Yeah, okay.
Like I drove home.
Yeah, okay.
I went to
I
Toowoomba.
was fucking off you when you left.
I didn't care.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you're a fucking pussy.
You knew that I was gonna have an early night.
Yeah. No, good on you because you went to Toowoomba the next day.
Went to Toowoomba the next day. Met my new nephew. Welcome to the world, Dominic. That's it.
Congrats, Dommy.
Yeah, congrats on
Little Dom Toretto.
Sure. Yep.
Little condom.
Say it again. I dare you.
That's my fucking baby.
That's my family. Say what you want about me.
Sound like Dom Toretto already. Oh, family.
We don't talk about family on the podcast, okay?
That's not Dom Toretto.
I don't give a shit. That's Dom.
The Godfather.
Dom Corleone. Dominic Corleone.
We got our Doms mixed up.
You mean no? That's Sylvester Stallone. That's Vin Diesel, isn't it?
Vin Diesel.
Family. That's all.
Family's everything.
I'm bald and I got a muscle car.
Paul Walker.
I'm Groot.
Yeah, I'm Groot. So that's nice. How is he, the young pup?
Yeah, he's good. He was super chill. He's 4 weeks old, so I call it like the first 6 months of any person's life. I call it like the potato phase.
Yeah, little spud.
Because they are just an absolute raw spud. There's nothing to them. They're just like this little fucking thing that you hold. Like you got to hold their head. I was like, I'm so comfortable holding like infants and kids and whatever. But like I went to hand it to my sister Soph, and she was like, no, I don't want to. Like she like cuddled him for a little bit, but she was like,
she's a mum, isn't she?
Soph.
Oh,
no,
Soph's not a
no,
mum.
no.
Sorry.
She was like, I don't feel comfortable holding babies because you got to support their head and like just like makes me real anxious. Fucking holding this real like fragile bundle, and I'm like, yeah, fair enough. But like I literally just like had him like on my chest for like an hour and a half on the couch and just like started like having a half nap. It was really wholesome.
That's cute. See, that's kind of like you had baby therapy and I had dog therapy.
Yeah.
You know, I had a dog fall asleep on my chest.
That's cute.
It's almost the same thing, you know.
What's cuter? Write in and tell us.
You decide. Dom sounds cuter than Piper. I'll give you that much.
Yeah. He didn't make as much noise at all. He was, honestly asleep for most of it, but
that's cute. But it's a lot of pressure to hold a newborn baby. The stakes are high.
Honestly, the best thing was that he got like 2 massive feeds in between like me holding him for periods. So like don't know much about babies, but I know that like when they've had a big feed, they just go into like this like almost like otherworldly state where they're just so high on mother's milk that they're just like, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm so drunk right now.
A deep food coma.
Yeah, 100%. Didn't have to deal with any sick up. I changed the diaper, but
nice, dude.
Yeah.
You're ready. Go on maths. Ready to rock as far as babyhood goes.
Uncle is as far as it goes. it's like I can just like check in and check out whenever I want. If he starts screaming, I'm just like, take him.
Don't want it anymore.
Don't want a piece of it.
Oh, it stopped being cute. Not for me.
What'd you say to me? I'm fucking done with you.
Baby just cussed me out. Sis, you can take him back.
Yeah, no,
bro.
Done. Yeah, either or.
Someone else. Anyone else.
But yeah, quiet weekend. But we're getting into silly season now, ladies and gentlemen. So things are going to start ramping up.
Oh, there'll be some better stories. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
there'll be better stories. And I bought a Lefties t-shirt.
Listen out to listen to this episode and next week's episode, but the episode after that. What's this? 46 today.
Yeah.
So listen out for 48 because that'll be post Tom and I's work Christmas party. This week, we actually are going to get around to reviewing something. But before we do have a couple of reviews to read out. First coming from our international correspondent, the Animal Chin, Christian Reese. Christian wrote in on our last episode saying, loved getting to hear another freestyle ep from the boys. So glad someone liked it. We do apologize as well that we did intend to review something last week, but the gift of the gab got the better of this flab.
The yarn got in the way of the barn.
Sure.
Which is TV. Sometimes TVs can be called barns.
Yep.
So it works. Yep. sorry to clickbait you if you thought Doppelgangers was a TV show.
Yeah. A lot of people were like, I thought it was a show. I'm like, no, we're not going to go Game of Clones and then Doppelgangers in the space of a couple.
It sounds like a show, doesn't it?
Yeah, it could be.
We should make a show called Doppelgangers.
Yeah. Channel 7, if you're listening, throw us like, I don't know, $40 million. And
we'll do it for cheap. We'll do it for cheap.
Yeah. If you give us all the creative control.
Yeah. We'll go Rick Donald approach, do it on the smell of an oil.
Are we gonna put up shitty billboards around major cities in Australia going, have you seen this man?
Yeah. We'll Game of Clones it as well. We'll make an Australian Game of Clones and call it Doppelgangers.
Yep.
Done.
All right. Cool. Well, Chris wrote in reference to maybe that episode. I can't remember. They're all blurring together.
It was a review of Doppelgangers.
No, it wasn't. It was a review. Yes, it was. Sorry. Loved getting to hear another freestyle ed from the boys. I awoke early on Thanksgiving. This is a day where Americans eat turkey to celebrate cultural imperialism. Thankful to have something to listen to whilst I cooked. For the doppelgangers, Jake looks like an olive and less flabby Chris O'Dowd. I had to think for a moment who Chris O'Dowd was, and then you made mention that it's hello IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
It's not Richard Ayoade from IT Crowd. It's the other guy.
I'll take Awadi, but yeah,
you don't like the O'Dowd.
He's all right. He's got a great personality.
He's a good looking dude. He's a leading man. Chris O'Dowd.
That's a stretch.
I wouldn't be offended if I was compared to him.
Yeah, look, it's not as well.
Actually, don't even fucking complain because I got some shocking comparisons.
Tom looks like a young Tom York. If you don't know who that is, look up either Tom York or Radiohead lead singer.
Well, hold on, read your other comparison that he gave you.
Oh yeah, sorry, I just completely missed that. Looks like a less flabby and olive Chris O'Dowd or a less drunk Burt Reynolds.
So you get Chris O'Dowd and Burt Reynolds. Yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, that's on the money.
Yeah.
Should have finished that sentence before I started questioning it. Tom looks like Tom York or a less rapey Chris Martin, as in the dude from Coldplay.
Yeah. I don't see it.
Isn't he blonde?
Yeah, he's blonde with curly hair.
All right, get your eyes checked, Christian, because Burp Reynolds and, and Chris Farton. I once got Tom, and then Chris says, excuse me, I once got Tom Hardy, which felt good until the person got more specific and saying, except Tom Hardy with a big beard while he's smoking and drinking and has a dad bod and crow's feet. Ouch.
That hurts.
Excited to hear about the 90s show, as the 90s were my elementary and preteen years, and I watched a lot of Jerry on sick days. 10 out of 10 Subway sandwiches on this one. TAC. Thanks, Tack.
Thanks, Animal Chin. Thank you for coming through another weekly review.
Yep.
Don't appreciate the Tom York reference.
It's
comparison.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
Ooh, I posted a photo to the OTAD Instagram. If you don't follow us already, go over and check that out.
Please.
You're missing a plethora of content.
We're desperate.
Tom York of Radiohead fame, like a young Tom York. Even, some people, you say a young X, and that's a compliment. It's like a young Tom York wasn't even good looking when he was young.
That's bad because he looks like a chameleon or a beetle. Like he looks, he's got these weird little fucking beady little eyes.
One eye doesn't open all the way.
Sunken into his head.
Yeah, it's, didn't appreciate it. And nor Chris Martin. Jacob gets Burt Reynolds and Chris O'Dowd.
Accurate.
Just the most handsome mustaches going around. We had one more review from Lance Farrelly, also known as part Australian, part Chinese. Okay, dude. Jake just farted into the microphone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Chris farting over here.
This is from Lance, part Australian, part Chinese. 5 stars for the freestyle doppelganger episode 45. Moral of the PAPK gym story is the girl returned to the gym a few days later with headphones. How's that for a lesson learned? He showed her.
Fucking reckless pap.
But I'm not entirely sure it was the same girl because she wasn't that hot.
You really are your father. Apple just does not fall far from the tree, does it? Oh, I don't know if she was the same.
Wasn't as fucking hot as the first one. The man has like 30 years on this girl, probably.
Maybe.
We don't know.
Maybe.
We can only assume. You can't judge me because Tom repeatedly tells me his generation doesn't judge. We don't. Only boomers like me judge, so I suppose I'm safe. Glad Tom backed my so-called rudeness in the Gymgate fiasco. With my own life over, I don't mind living through Tom and Jacob.
Fucking hell, Lance. Can you get a little bit less nihilistic on us?
My life's over. Fuck it. It's all. I just listen to the boys' podcast and go to sleep.
So casual about my life being over.
I eat oats and work.
I eat raw oats in warm water, and I listen to podcasts with no headphones.
And yell at girls in the gym.
My life's over. So I love living with you through you guys and your 13 followers.
I'd love to go to Lefties sometime. If you ever want to extend an invite.
That would be sick.
Go to Lefties with Dad. Tough sharing the stage with the American, but oh well. What can you do? Great podcast. Highlight of my week.
That's such a brush off. That's Michael Jordan doesn't care about like Shaquille O'Neal entering the league. Don't give a fuck. Who's LeBron James? No, I'll have to share the limelight. Whatever.
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, don't care.
I'm still PAPK.
I am the PAPK.
Christian Reese, you want to come in and fucking spin some yarns and leave some reviews?
I'm gonna go with the Animal Chin or 6-pack PAPK.
I know who I'm choosing. I know who I'm taking on a desert island.
I'm taking the guy who called me Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, and I'm not taking the guy who called me Tom York. PAPK.
Oh, this is where the whole even number comes into just a conundrum.
Yeah.
There's no majority rules.
No, there's not. Well, that's assuming we're on the same island together. Could be on separate ones with our own one person.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice to die not next to each other? Sounds like the dream.
Jibber.
Jibber.
All right. Well, we do thank you again for joining us this week. That sounds like the end of the episode, but it definitely is not.
It's tough when you get past the review stage. and you
Goodbye
have to-
to the part where we aren't talking about TV. This week, we dive into the content that we were meant to dive into last week. Dark Side of the 90s. This is airing on, or it's streaming on SBS On Demand. Interesting new series. Dark Side of the 90s takes a deep dive into the decade's untold history, revealing secrets, perspectives, and first-hand accounts like you've never seen before. Very interesting. It's got 10 episodes, just like a mini docuseries. We watched last week, which we were going to review, which we kind of alluded to at the end of last episode, Trash TV, Dirty and Deadly Talk, which is kind of the genesis of reality TV and Jerry Springer.
Mm-hmm.
It's got other interesting stuff. Beanie Babies Go Bust,
Mm-hmm.
Baywatch, Sex Sells, Hip Hop, the East vs. West Media War, Secrets of the Runway, The Internet 1.0, Don't Believe the Hype. Or what we watched this week, The Viper Room, Hollywood's Sanctuary. Real heavy shit.
It's real heavy shit, but it's all very high quality stuff.
Yeah. Apart from the reenactments.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say a step above ACA reenactments.
Yeah, at least I don't have like
Maybe
a
half a step.
like a watermark reenactment.
Yeah,
It's like,
no.
we know this is a reenactment because everything's in slow motion and the lighting is too crisp.
Yeah, you're not going, oh, they got 4K cameras into the Viper Room and shot behind Johnny Depp's head.
In
back the
92,
90s.
yeah.
No. I mean, started off great last week with Jerry Springer. That was really interesting. The big takeaway from last week was there was the case on Jerry Springer where, oh no, it wasn't Jerry Springer show.
It was the other, it was like a female talk show host where...
Yeah. It was
They-
an African-American female talk show host.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
I thought
it
you didn't
wasn't.
see colour. Got him, ladies and gentlemen. We have got him. No, it was not.
You're right.
But it was the talk show host where she got two friends on. One who was homosexual and in love with his friend, and the friend who he was in love with, heterosexual, didn't like him that way.
Yes. And then the guy who had the crush on him, the guy who was being pursued, ended up killing the other guy.
The straight guy killed the gay guy.
The straight guy killed the gay guy because he was like, leave me the fuck alone.
Well, he was
Straight up murdered him.
I think he was. He felt humiliated after being paraded out on national television.
Yep.
Of like, the fuck? Why are you putting me like on the spot here with
in this position.
Yeah.
As the host encouraged it and saw him squirming.
Yep.
So there was a murder that came out of the show.
Yep.
And everyone was like, this was the height of like white picket signs and everyone going, oh, fucking TV's ruining, violence on television is ruining our youth, and this is why there's so many shootings, and Eminem and Marilyn Manson are the devils.
Yeah, this is what instigates all the violence of Columbine. I think they made a reference to that in the show, saying this is what fueled school shootings.
Yeah, so and then when an actual death came directly out of it, they kind of had to look at themselves, all of these shows, and go, like, there was a court case, the host herself was questioned and interrogated.
Yeah. She had to
trial.
Yeah, she basically pled the fifth the entire time.
Yeah. They were asking her, like, at any time when you were instigating this straight guy to hit on this gay guy, could you see that the straight guy was uncomfortable? She was like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea. So when that happened, all of those trash television shows kind of pulled their heads in a little bit. And
Except for Jerry.
Yeah. And Jerry just went, nope, fuck it. And he just lent into it and got worse and worse.
This is like the biggest that bad publicity is still good publicity.
Yeah. And also, and after that happened, his ratings skyrocketed because he no longer had any competition.
Yep.
Like even Oprah at the start was doing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
She was a bit trashier and she completely rebranded and she was like, I'm going to be...
She pivoted to celebrity talks.
Yeah. Yes, she did. And Jerry was just like, no, I'm going to keep fucking doing it. So his ratings went through to the moon and then eventually just burnt out because it was like what was his name? Jerry Goldstein or whoever the cigar guy was.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was
Dick
like that.
Dominic?
Yes, Dick Dominic. He was the producer for Jerry's show back in the day. And he was like, yeah, we just didn't give a fuck and just kept going and going. But he also said, you can only see someone get punched in the face so many times until it's not shocking anymore. And he was like, the whole essence of what we were doing was just shock. And when it became less shocking after time and time and time again, people stopped watching.
Yeah, it became stale.
Yeah. So Jerry had to, I know he just kind of disappeared, I guess.
Yeah, just rode off into the sunset or just kind of sailed away into nothingness with his hundreds of millions of dollars.
Remember he went to court when all of that was going on about the death and everything, and they got Jerry in to speak to Parliament or someone.
It was a deposition.
Yeah, and all these politicians were there and lawyers were there trying to get the best of him and like, Jerry, do you think this and do you think that? And he just like Donald Trumped the whole thing. Just ultimate entertainer, took the piss out of the whole thing, got the crowd on his side.
100%, yeah. You're getting someone who, like, you're playing someone at the game of, and I think we kind of touched on this point last week, but you're getting someone in the room where you're trying to oust him in a court, in a televised court setting, where he's got experience as a high-level politician, a mayor of Cincinnati, and now like one of the biggest talk show hosts on smut television. Yeah, you're not beating this guy. Is like he is covered in Teflon. You're not going to hit anything on him.
No, he had a quip for everything. Every time they tried to take it serious, he would just steer it back into like, I'm going to take the piss out of you, the person asking the question, and the crowd went wild.
Which made the prosecutor lose all credibility.
Yeah, yeah. And it was like some fucking lawyer isn't going to get it over Jerry Springer. No, he just fucking crushed it.
Yep, he did.
Can't kill him. He's like a cockroach.
No.
Can't take him down.
Not until, well, I mean, can't kill him, but you know what can kill someone?
That H.
That heroin.
That good H.
So that was the first episode we watched last week. The episode we watched this week was The Viper Room, which if you don't know what The Viper Room is, Tom, give us a little bit of a lowdown of what it was like if you're a high-level celebrity in the early to mid-90s.
Yeah, The Viper Room is a nightclub in Los Angeles on the Sunset Strip. The famous Sunset Strip and Sunset Boulevard. It was called the Control Room or something like that when Johnny Depp...
Who gives a shit what it was called beforehand?
Johnny Depp bought this little bar that was just kind of a heavy metal bar. It was all about the rock and roll. And he bought it and then just turned it into a hangout for A-list celebrities. They've got shots there. Like, we were just watching the first 20 minutes of this and we were just name dropping every person that we saw.
Heath Ledger, Kurt Cobain, Leonardo DiCaprio, Schwimmer wasn't there. Jennifer Aniston.
So Schwimmer was probably there somewhere.
No, Rachel, I know what you're talking to Kurt.
I want to do heroin with you, Rachel.
Come on, Rachel. Let's go look at dinosaur bones.
Will they, won't they? Quentin Tarantino was there.
Yes. Tobey Maguire.
Did you say Heath Ledger? Because Heath Ledger was there.
Yeah.
If you were anyone, you went to the Viper Room.
Yeah. If you're an A-list celebrity, yep.
You went to If you were anyone's anyone. If you were anyone who was anyone.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Flea. People went there. Johnny Depp was behind the door going, you can come in, you can't come in, you can come in, you can't come in. You didn't go there if you were just a regular person.
It was a safe haven for the celebrities, away from the paparazzi.
They could let their hair down. They went in there to let their hair down.
Let their hair down and open their nostrils up.
Oh, yeah. So it started out as kind of just a hangout for them to talk. Counting Crows' lead singer was in there. I think his name was Daniel.
Doesn't matter. If you don't know you know who. I didn't think I knew who Counting Crows are, who they were, but you would know if you heard any of their songs.
Mr. Jones and me.
The pay paradise, put up my big penis.
They do a cover of Joni Mitchell. That was the big coup for this episode. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Take it away, Jacob. Take it away.
That was who they. That's who they got as the big interview.
Yeah, the big interview. Unrecognizable because this is him 30 years on.
Yeah, I remember them just starting. They didn't really introduce who the guy was, and I assume they feel they didn't need to because he was like, "Yeah, I was just rubbing shoulders, and I felt safe there because I was there amongst my colleagues, people in the industry." I was like, "Who the fuck are you, man? I don't know who you are. Like, you're talking as if you are Leonardo DiCaprio."
Yeah, you're definitely the least famous of the people who are allowed into the Viper room because Leo's not signing up to do a sit-down doco about the 90s.
Yeah.
They had to get someone who's somewhat fallen out of the limelight.
Someone who's looking for a paycheck.
His name's Andrew Duritz.
Okay.
If you don't know the name.
Quick Google, man. Very nice.
You mean Jamie. Jamie was on there.
Nice one, Jamie.
Love the speed, Jamie. But his claim to fame is obviously Counting Crows, Mr. Jones and Me, but then also saw Jennifer Aniston for a little while. Had dreads back in the day, didn't look as bloated. Like it was kind of, they were on the cover of Rolling Stones for a little bit, so it was a big enough deal to hit it off with Jennifer Aniston. And they hung out for a bit, and yeah, he was kind of our insight into the Viper room and what went on then.
Yeah, that story about how he met Jennifer Aniston. He's like, yeah, I actually didn't know who Jennifer Aniston was at the time because Friends was airing, and I was just on tour, so I didn't hear about the biggest sitcom on the planet on tour.
I was on tour. It's like Friends was all over the world, dog. And he's like, we kind of got together because some of my friends lied to Jennifer and said I had a crush on her. It's like, bullshit. You definitely everyone had a crush on Jennifer Aniston in the 90s.
Stunning.
Everyone did. And her friends lied to me and said she had a crush on me.
I just saw, a girl with a nice personality, kind of funny and kind of pretty.
Yeah. He was like, she was pretty nice and she was funny. So that ticked all the boxes for me.
And,
like, okay.
And the biggest thing was she liked me.
Yeah, which I liked.
Yeah.
I like girls who like me.
Pretty simple math, dude.
Sue me.
Yeah.
And if they're on the biggest television show of all time.
If it's the hottest woman on the planet, like on the cover of every magazine.
Yeah, I reckon that ticks my box.
Yeah, she's all right. So we saw each other for a little while, but didn't work out. But she was a nice girl.
Yeah, she met Brad Pitt. And she went, I'm not dating Andrew Duritz. It must have been like first season Friends for her to go for Andrew Duritz.
Yeah.
It must have been early.
For sure.
Bruh, like, if as a scale of your exes, when you go through them, if you start out on Andrew Duritz and your next is
Brad Pitt.
But
it was also probably like one of those things about, how, I don't know about you, but I speak for myself personally and a lot of people I know, like, you get super attracted to talent.
Yeah.
So if even if it's someone who's not incredible looking, if someone who is a star walks in a room, you're instantly gravitated towards them.
Big time.
And Counting Crows was on the cover of Rolling Stone at the time.
Yeah.
So like Jennifer Aniston was like, oh my God, it's a band that's really big right now, but it probably isn't going to be in 10 years. Fair enough if that was like your first thing, like, oh, I could like this. I could like this guy. I could get around his ugly as fuck Sideshow Bob dreadlocks and his weird chin strap goatee.
Yeah.
And then Brad Pitt walked in the room.
Yeah. Well, it's the Jensens effect, isn't it? We spoke about this.
We did speak about this. Yeah.
It's Joe from the Jensens. It's just having a fucking, I don't want to say bang average because Joe isn't. I'd way rather fuck Joe than Andrew Duritz.
Same as it ever was.
But if you're talented and you can shake your dick around on stage,
talent,
you can get Jennifer Aniston.
Talent can easily push a 4 to an 8.
Easily. You can double your score if you can slay a bit of axe.
And if you're handsome and talented, game over.
You're John Mayer.
If like, I don't know if I've ever spoken to you about this, but Varun, the bassist for Ash Groove, stunning man. Like he's very handsome. He's 6'5", dark skin, chiseled jaw, and he's also a doctor and he plays bass in like a very talented bassist. Like and he's also humble. Like it's just like, can you just fucking not be this much of a 10?
Can you leave some for the rest of us?
Every single show, there's like
accosted.
There is at least like a dozen women surrounding him, like all of them, like either coming up to us and going, "Oh, can you introduce me to the bassist?"
Really?
Yeah, or just going up to him going, "Oh my God, you were so good tonight." Blah blah blah.
Is he single?
Yeah, of course he's single. He's 22 and he's living on the Gold Coast studying med as a rockist,
as a rock star.
Yeah,
as an Ash Groove.
I wouldn't go far to say a star, but he's got the talent to be one.
I've seen him up there.
Oh, he can rock a crowd.
Yeah.
Those fingers. Oh.
The dexterity on them.
The dexterity to not only play bass but also be a doctor.
Yeah.
Don't know if he's studying to be like a neurosurgeon or something, but
Imagine his foreplay game.
oh my god,
Oh my God.
those
digits can dance.
he hasn't discovered the G spot. He's discovered the Z spot, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. okay.
All right, I'm pumping him up too much as his manager.
By
but
G spot, you mean like the G chord on the guitar, right?
yeah, note and it bass.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well. Then you get to X's and O's.
I'm protecting the integrity of someone who I've taught a lot.
It's
over
your
the
job
years.
to do so. Keep him under your wing. That's
He's my
all right.
he's my protege.
Keep teaching him some things.
Um,
He's like, Jake, fuck off. I fuck 10 girls a night. You can't teach me anything. You should be listening to me, dude. Fucking weed.
Yep.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm sure you could teach him a lot.
Fuck off, cunt. He teaches me everything I know. But yeah, my point is that talent just like is lightning in a bottle.
Yes. Talent comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. It's lightning in a bottle, and Viper Room was a thunderstorm.
Yeah. Oh, that's a line and a half, Tom Farrelly.
Hey! The least cool thing you can do is flex.
Yeah, comes out with some waxing poetic, and then just if you're not watching this on YouTube, Tom just decided to just give me the double pump like Arnie flicks in. I'm the king.
I'm so fucking good at talking.
Somebody's had too much Mountain Goat tonight.
Sorry, dudes.
Keep it going.
Would you say am I wrong though?
No.
Yeah.
I think if you walked into the Viper Room, you'd feel a lot like someone at their first AC/DC concert. You've been thunderstruck, yeah, River Pheonix.
It's like walking into a room with 10 Pikachus that are all doing their
Rare Pikachus.
that are all just shooting lightning out of their dicks.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, Pika P.
Pika. Oh my God, mommy.
I choose you.
Sucker.
Let me take another rare candy, if you know what I mean.
There were we don't need to name drop all of those celebs again, but imagine just walking into a fucking room, and I mean they wouldn't feel it because they are it, and no regular person would feel it because they didn't get let in. But if you're just sitting in a room with Heath Ledger, Ben Affleck, Tarantino, it's like that Ellen DeGeneres selfie at the Oscars.
Yeah.
With all the famous people in it, but eternally.
Yeah.
And in a nightclub. And not cringing on camera to America.
For sure. Yeah. And like, I mean, we're pretty lucky, like working in like at Triple M and B105. Obviously, we're not seeing celebrities of that magnitude, but like part of like working there is being told like you need to treat, if you see people, like you need to treat like people that have of notoriety, you need to treat them like normal humans. You can't just run up to them and ask for an autograph.
Can't fanboy out.
No, but
as much as you might want to.
There's got to be some point where like that the ceiling just shatters.
Yeah. When you are one of them, you mean?
Yes, but also like when you're like a celebrity going into the Viper Room, like if you're, I don't know, the guy from Counting Crows walking in and you see Leonardo DiCaprio after he's just done Titanic, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I think it changes because it's not like, hey, I'm a nobody and oh my God, you're Leo. It changes from that to, hey, I'm on the cover of Rolling Stone.
True. I forget he's on the cover of Rolling Stone. Shit, that's not a good example. Anyway.
But the point is that everyone in there would have done was a little bit, at least a little bit famous themselves.
They'd earned it.
So yeah, you meet Leo as Ben Affleck and you go, hey man, I liked the film that you're in. And he'd go, hey, I like the film you're in. And you have common ground.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not up here and you're not down there. Like we are down here and they are up there.
Imagine us walking into the like peak Viper Room and like going and sitting at that table and Johnny Depp's like, oh, so what do you guys do? We're like, oh, we've got a podcast. And just, oh yeah, okay. What kind of traction has it got?
Do you want to come on and make it good?
Tell us about Fear and Loathing.
I've seen Titanic once.
Johnny's like, I wasn't in that.
Sorry. Can I find Leo? I don't want to talk to you.
Tim Burton's really cool, man.
Who's eating Gilbert grapes? I'll have them tonight.
All right. But the Viper Room is known for something. It kind of says it in the description if you go and watch it. But the Viper Room is known for something that kind of made it infamous. They said more than famous. Drugs and the death of River Pheonix.
Oh yeah, caused by drugs. Yeah,
some would say.
Well, alleged.
I would like to say heartbreak.
The coroner says.
All right.
But it was the cocaine and the heroin.
The coroner says,
Okay, fucking poet over here.
technically.
Science speaks louder than emotions.
Whatever, dude.
Sure, it was heartbreak. He wasn't even. It was the drugs. It was the drugs. I don't think he was even seeing anyone at the time.
You're gripping onto that point way too much, Farrelly.
Well, I mean, when the next scene is the coroner going, he had copious amounts of cocaine and heroin in his system.
What did he say?
I don't think heartbreak caused the seizures out the front of the Viper Room.
All right.
Could be wrong.
We'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
I'm so fucking sad. Sorry.
You never been there before?
There's the point that I start convulsing.
But what?
Joaquin on the phone to 911. She fucking dumped him, cunt. My brother's sad. Oh, he's so fucking sad. Save him.
I feel bad making that joke.
That is so sad. There's a heartbreaking phone call that is, you probably heard it, but Joaquin Phoenix on the phone to 911.
At like 19 years old, calling 911 with his brother having a seizure on the ground.
Yeah. That got telegraphed to the world, and like this doco kind of says, it was the world's introduction to Joaquin Phoenix at the lowest point of his life. Not due to heartbreak, due to drugs, but we'll move on. And then that kind of, I mean, River had done Stand By Me.
Yep.
He was coming up. River was a 23-year-old, a throbber on the rise, as some might say.
A throbber on the rise. Are you still talking about the actor or
a Hollywood heart throbber on the rise? Yeah. Just fucking the hottest guy in the world and way too young.
Super talented, but also a damaged soul.
If you see interviews with him, they used one interview in this doco.
There'd be maybe a couple, like a handful.
Not comfortable in front of the camera.
No.
Sunny's on, twitching.
Covering his face with his hand a lot of the time.
Yeah, like...
Obviously strung out, but I think like I said this to you, for someone who is so uncomfortable in front of camera, at the same time, super magnetic. Like you couldn't look away from him. Like I've watched interviews with celebrities where it's like, yep, you're a big name, but that's all that's making me watch this. Like there's nothing really to you apart from your Bradley Cooper or whatever, even though he is quite charming.
He's like the opposite of a Will Smith.
Yeah.
Will Smith,
great example.
Right? Will Smith, the most charismatic, nauseatingly charismatic man in the room.
Yeah.
Like just can fucking dance.
It's just
comes
on.
Out. Yeah.
He's just a robot.
He's a performer. He's working the crowd the whole time. And that comes with a not vanity, but just like
showmanship.
Yeah, it's like you're not a real person. You're so otherworldly.
Yeah. This becomes more about self-promotion and you're making your star rise.
It's very non-human. Whereas River, in an interview, not being able to talk, twitching is like the most human thing ever. Because it's like, not we all know a person like that, but it's just like, oh, you're being a real human on the screen.
Super insecure and anxious.
Yeah. And all the best actors are. Like all the actors are. Like you ever seen Robert De Niro in an interview?
No.
Awful.
Yeah, okay.
Like terrible on camera.
Just awkward.
Yeah. He's not, again, the opposite of Will Smith. He's not bappity. Fucking James Corden couldn't have him on and riff with him. You know? He's just awkward.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger, when he was
shy as anything.
Yeah. His interviews when he was like when he was doing the press run for The Dark Knight, he was like scratching the whole time. Like
doing these ones.
Yeah. Like in the middle of like he looked strung out at the time. But it's like it's the guys who get into film as an art form, not as a fame engine.
Yeah. And that's kind of how they tied up
the Quiet Poets.
How they tied up the Viper Room episode is basically saying that like...
Sorry, I was a bit distracted as you were saying that. We got a live YouTube comment on one of the videos, on an old video, which was Louis Theroux's America's Most Dangerous Pets. Someone just commented saying, they commented a timestamp 25:13 for anyone looking to skip the title clickbait. As in, like, skip to the content where we're not just talking shit. That episode was episode 24. So that's still just doing the rounds somewhere on the internet.
That just shows there's no rhyme or reason to anything we do.
Dude, you know how many views that video's got?
200?
497.
Louis Theroux.
Louis Theroux's got 497 views. America's Most Dangerous Pets.
There you go.
I think I posted it on Reddit like ages ago. So that's been bouncing around in a little Louis Theroux echo chamber for a while.
Interesting. Maybe we circle around for a hat trick on Louis.
I think so. I think that's the key to our success. Sorry, where were you?
Oh, I was just rambling.
You were talking about the line in the sand pre-internet and post-internet.
Yeah. Basically saying how stars in the 90s and like maybe it's like looking through it through rose-tinted glasses, but looking at the Viper Room, like stars weren't like that was like the last point when it was peak Hollywood as far as stardom. Like you've got like and doing it for the fact that they were like everyone in that room was super talented.
Yeah,
Keith, Leo, Johnny, Jack, Anthony Kiedis, Kurt Cobain, like River Pheonix, like all these people were there because they were super talented and super interesting, eclectic people. And then you moved into this era where internet started to become prevalent, and it became more about, and this kind of coincides as well because it was all in the 90s when reality TV started to come into play. So you had, the Kardashians and Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie coming into play as like the new celebrity.
The guy puts it really well when he says, fame was always, he says, pre-internet, fame was always a unfortunate byproduct of being really talented that you just put up with. All of those guys at the Viper Room in the 90s didn't love paparazzi and being famous. They were just super talented and really good at something. So the fame was there, but they didn't enjoy it.
The whole reason the Viper Room was started.
Literally, so you could escape it all, right?
Yep.
The whole reason they're all hooked on fucking heroin and coke is so they can escape the pressures of being super famous.
Yep.
The line in the sand post-internet is people now chase fame as a career, as the point of what they're going to do. The Paris Hiltons or Kardashians of the world aren't they're famous for being famous.
You see like how much it's evolved so rapidly in 15 years since the internet's become so much more prevalent. And I'm really probably too many beers deep to be talking about this on a podcast in an eloquent way. But
give it a crack.
Yeah, I'll try. People like the whole statement of people are becoming famous for the sake of being famous. Instead of having some sort of integrity or the reason or a reason why they actually attain fame in the first place. Don't get me wrong, that still exists. There's still people like a Maddie Matheson or like a Anthony Bourdain. Obviously, for whatever reasons, I don't know why I referred to two cooks, but people are still becoming famous because of an extraordinary talent and for being charismatic, but with TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, there's so many more people that are getting millions and millions of followers or people who know their names based on nothing.
Yeah, well, people go on Maths and Bachelor and Love Island now in an attempt to just be an influencer afterwards.
Rise their star.
That's now a career choice to just be an influencer, and that's not a talent. That's not a skill. You're not a good guitarist or musician or actor. The guy on this, he makes a good point where he's like, it used to be so cool to hate fame, and it still is way cooler to like not want to be famous.
Yeah,
Daniel Day-Lewis is way cooler as someone who never does interviews or anything and shies away from it and just puts everything into his art and the thing that he's really, really good at, rather than a Paris Hilton who is like leans so much into it and loves cameras and photo shoots. Like, wouldn't you way rather someone like that has way more to say than someone who just fucking wants to be famous, as we sit here on a podcast that we're trying to make blow up?
Yeah, well, I mean, we
the irony.
Yes. I think we try and sing till we're blue in the face that we do this from a place that we like to present and just talk.
Yes.
And if this blows up or if it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because we're having fun doing it at the time.
Yes.
If we do, cool. But we're not Kim Kardashian where we'll literally go and sleep with a B grade rapper and make a porn video go viral.
Yeah.
And then somehow fashion that into a reality TV show, a fashion line, makeup, all sorts of different enterprises, all in the name of an empire, all in the name of money and fame.
Yeah.
Like I more power to you if that is what you really want to do and you go and succeed at. Hats off to you. Might be, and is it a little bit of jealousy talking? I don't know, maybe because I don't have that. But at the end of the day, the idea of you just coming out there and going, I want to be famous. It just makes me cringe a little bit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's all well and good to sit here and be like, they're so fucking vain and self-centered, and how could you do that? Have you watched Extras?
Yeah.
So, you know, like his whole arc is like he sets out to be
famous.
Well, no, he doesn't set out to be famous. He sets out to be the guy with integrity who makes a show that is going to stand the test of time and is like a Rick Donald, you know, that like the least abroad show that isn't for everyone, but is a Faulty Towers. But then he gets celebrity and that consumes him, and then he's at a fork in the roads where he's like, do you want to be famous or do you want to be the struggling artist? And he chooses fame. So it's like,
you can't have your cake and eat it too.
If you were in the position, if we got to a position where it was like, it's like if you look at anyone inspired unemployed or like any young throbber on the rise and you see them doing ads for tradie deodorant and they're on billboards and now they're on this and now they're on that. It's always like, oh, you've sold out.
It's all about exposure, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also strike while the iron's hot, right?
Yeah.
It's like you never know how, like, inspired unemployed probably aren't like the boys are great, whatever, but it's such a flash in the pan. You don't know how long you're going to be relevant for. In 5 years, they might be in the rear view and they would be going, we should have taken that multi-million-dollar tradie deodorant deal while we had it. So like how it's so easy to sit here and be like, oh, I wouldn't fucking do it. But then like when you're in that position, I don't know, would you?
Yeah, you make a good point.
Everyone likes to think that they would not. But then when you're in the position, who fucking knows?
Yeah, it's nice to think that you'd be really pure, but if like someone came with like $1 million deal on the table to go, hey, we want you guys to have, you know, be the next face of fucking Clearasil or whatever it is.
And you can't swear on your podcast anymore, and we're going to control everything you say, and you've got no creative control, and you have to talk about My Little Pony.
But you never have to work a day in your life.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one because at the end of the day,
how shit would you feel sitting here doing a podcast that isn't true and from somewhere?
The money would be sick. But yeah, like that's the thing is like this stops because we have to filter everything we do. And we can't start our episodes doing really shit covers of whatever song it was.
And we would be longing for the days where we could say whatever the fuck we want.
No, boys, no drinking on the show.
No drinking on the show.
No. We don't want to hear your drunken tangents anymore.
We need you clean. We need you sober. Depends how big the check is, baby.
And you can make that happen.
Send me that good.
So, Tom, to wrap it all in a neat bow, because as I said, I'm probably a little bit too tipsy to continue talking about this show with any sort of substance.
That's all right. I think we got a good hour out of it.
What would you rate
The Viper Room, mid-90s.
the Dark Side of the 90s?
Dark Side of the 90s. I would give Dark Side of the 90s a very solid 8 out of 10 heroin overdoses on the street. Grim rating system, maybe. Maybe, but I mean, try to make it light. The show was a bit grim. 8 out of 10 for me. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on the money. Really enjoyed it. Would highly recommend other people go and see it. I would give it 8
out of 10 mountain goats that have made you too pissed to come up with a rating system.
Yeah, probably. No, I would give it, probably like 8.5.
Strong.
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I just really can't think of something to rate it with.
Think about what happened.
8.5 smutty reality TV shows out of 10 because we
Nice.
also watched the Jerry Springer one.
I love you've gone ep 1, I've gone ep 2.
Hey.
Unity, baby.
Yep.
I don't think we're in any danger of anyone offering us millions of dollars to stop doing this in the
No.
way that we wanted to. So
It's just whether we make it home in one piece.
I think we're safe for now.
Fucking hear that rain outside and we're driving on
Is that right?
X amount of standards. Yeah, it's rain, dude.
Dad, we're sober.
It's not
We've only had
not
2
me
beers.
pissing under the table. If you have made it this far into our rambling for another week, we do thank you so much for joining us on the air tonight. As always, if you did enjoy the show, be sure to give us a follow on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up to date with everything free to air that we review anyway. Not everything free to air in the whole free to air hemisphere.
Free to air airspace.
Free to air sphere.
Free to air sphere. Free to air universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe of free to air television.
Universe.
Universe. We haven't seen all of it, so that's not what we're saying.
And if we could give one piece of advice for you for the next 7 days until the next episode.
Keep it real, baby.
Really threw you under the bus there.
That's a lot of pressure.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.